In these crates are two unicorn motors. Each one of these is over 100 years old and near impossible to replace. Let's open them up. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Blake and this is Fly Weld Fab. Here we have a 1920 Indian Scout motor. What makes it extra special than being over 100 years old is it has this oil pump on the case. With this variant, they only made this model for a few months. This one is a 1924, 22 to 24 model. It is more of a commonly produced model of Indian Scout motors, but both are in need of some welding repair. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build up this weld and try to replicate it, make it look like it's 100 years old. On this tab, these tabs, this tab, and on this case here, it is split. It's cracked both sides completely loose, front and back. Now over 100 years of being alive, there's been some repairs done that I got to fix up too. I can't damage the serial number. This is impossible to replace, and I need to treat it as such. So how am I going to do it? Very carefully. I'm going to build up weld on this cast aluminum. I'm going to take this apart, die grind, build up weld, die grind, build up weld. I'm going to try to have as little heat input as possible and just take my time and do it right. I'm going to start taking it apart, have a better look at it, and get some pieces cleaned up and get to work. So I'm going to start on this case here with the oil pump. And kind of 3/8 to take off these bolts, but they really look homemade. I know when you are dealing with old fasteners that nothing was really standard or typical, that they just kind of made their own stuff and it was what it was. Or it's from a farm and the guy was just doing the best with what he had to work with. So it's kind of 3/8 on one side and kind of not anywhere else. I hit it with a little bit of weasel piss, some degreaser, try a bit of cutting fluid on here, see if I can't loosen it up. So the reason I'm starting on this one is so I can start welding, leave it clamped and let it cool, and just keep moving back and forth in between other parts so I don't put too much heat input into any one part. I'll also have an air line with a nozzle on it so I can cool as I'm going. I don't want to rapidly cool it, but I do want to cool it a bit. Well, that head busted off. That friggin' sucks. So when you're welding cast, which I've done more times than I'd like to, I have a couple preferences. I really like making sure things are nice and clean. And you can degrease and clean till the cows come home, but it's going to be soaked into these pores. So you gotta weld it, die grind it, weld it, die grind it. It's a time-consuming process. Can't rush it. And with something this rare, I don't want to mess it up. The client put a lot of trust in me to do this right, and I don't want to let him down. A little bit of degreaser. And some wire brushing. Repeat. And get both sides. Okay, that's not bad for now. That'll get me started. It's a little twisted here. I'm gonna cheat it a little bit. Maybe I'll weld up here and get it a little flatter, and then need be, he can take it to a machine shop and get this whole surface faced, the fly cutter. But I'll get it close enough for them and do a little bit of build up that they can take the excess down. Start with a little bit of sanding. All right, clamp down flat. So now I'm going to relieve a little more with the die grinder. And just like that. Okay. Throw the lid on, do a bit of welding. I'm going to put you guys on time lapse. It's going to be weld, peen with a hammer, die grind. All right, let me grab my strong hand.
I better use my strong hand.
There, that's better. So as you can see here, welded up along the outside. I left this little crack. I want to wait for a little bit before I do that one. But she's sitting pretty flat on my table. So I think that's good. So, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Let's do this one. So we'll start welding up some tabs here, and then we'll get ready to die grind it all out. This block looks like it's been sandblasted. The casting looks really clean, so I think it might just be all right to send it with the welder.
Wrong. Wrong.
If you guys made it this far, you may as well click subscribe. And if you do click subscribe, you may as well watch it to the end. Now, I think that this piece comes straight out, and I think it would be curved like that. I can't find much for pictures online what it should actually look like. But I think it's more from a top view, it kind of comes over on an angle, and then radius is down. Maybe I'll let this cool down just a minute and see what I can find online. So I got couple passes coming out on this tab here, but doing some research on it, trying to see what actually gets bolted on here, I found a couple photos. Now from the photos you can tell that they come out quite far, so rather than just building up with weld, I'm going to bolt some plates on here and then weld them up front and back and blend them out. Be much easier that way, and then I can file them down, sand down the sides after, and get everything nice and true. So just clamp a straight edge on so it stays nice and flat. Clamp my flat piece on. That stays nice and flat. Now I can do a bit of welding on it. This is just 60-61 flat bar. It'll weld up nice. Try to get a couple tacks on the back side here. Fill this up too. the top welded up here. Still have the hole. But it turns out there's like a little gusset that comes off from the side of the plate here back to this where the magneto will go through. So I'm going to weld this up, weld it to here carefully. I popped the cover off because I didn't want to put too much heat on here with other pieces in it. So at least now I can let it cool more naturally without affecting anything is the plan. So weld this up, weld that up, and then start cleaning it up. All right, so welded along the bracket here. So now I just got to kind of die grind it from the picture that I have for reference. So I'll show right now. So you can see I need to take a little bit out from the top there. I need to take a little bit out and make it kind of come in, be a little more narrow, and flatten all this up. And then this side will basically be done. I got this bracket welded in, die ground out a little bit. Looks all right. Nice and flat on the top. I still got to clean up underneath a little bit. Get my strong hand out of the way.
The hand.
I got in here kind of tidied up. So I just got to clean this weld, smooth this out, and kind of thin it out a little bit. And then I should be able to make this match the picture. From there, I'll cut another plate to match this, have it all clamped together and spaced, get it welded, start filling this up in between. I'll fill it up as best as I can. All right, so got another piece of flat bar cut, and then I got a piece of stainless steel spacing it in between, because there's about a 1/8 spacing in between these two plates. With the stainless, I'll be able to weld it basically right to the bottom, and I'll be able to knock this out after which, because stainless doesn't stick to aluminum that well. I got my strong hand here.
Take my hand. Ah!
All right, so got it welded and blended in. Looks pretty good. I added a little bit more material here so I could die grind it off and have it match. I'll clean this up and then move on to the next part. Magneto plates sitting nice and good. Got this all cleaned up. Looking good. Magneto will sit on here and all right, so now this tab was welded out, ground down. This motor's done. I'm gonna get going on this motor again. So we're gonna start with cleaning this up a little bit after I get it a little straighter. Now, when this was sitting down, it must have been rubbing and vibrating, because when it was kind of sitting down and holding itself together, it shifted over the 100 years it's been alive. So I'm going to do some die grinding in here. And then I'm going to weld this up and blend it out to about this point, because I have contact here and I have contact here. But this has just been sitting too low over time. So let's have a look at the next part. Now this is the very important motor. So what he explained to me was when there's a oil pump mounted to this casing, then that's where these are a very rare motor. They were only produced a few months is what he was saying, and so I'm doing my best to preserve it. So far, I got it sitting nice and flat. So it's a start for the machine shop when they get it. They should be able to put a fly cutter on and face this real nice and then be able to use it. Pretty simple. They're going to have to counterbore this hole, and that should be it. So now I will be able to take this plate and bolt it back up to this casing to help keep this one flat, because this is also broken off with these tabs here. Cracked right across and broken off there. So this one's going to take a fair bit of cleaning up to get it good to go. This tab was also broke off. I had welded it up on this one, so that's an easy one. And then also the magneto plate needs to get done. And I won't be able to get these these bolt holes out. It's dangling in there. I'm hitting on the crankshaft inside here. So once the casing gets split for machining, then I'm going to have to do some more welding repairs. But I'll get going on this. I'm going to take some stuff off, get it cleaned up, get this bolted back on. Now I got this piece bolted up with little pieces in behind it, and just using it kind of as a template to keep these guys straight and true. Then I'll start welding this guy up. I'll blend this out, trying to keep it nice and as cool as possible. Weld these holes up, keep them as cool. Weld these holes up and keep them nice and cool. Build this out, clean it up. Build this out, clean it up. Make a slot for the top flat bars to come, and finish welding it up. Connector piece here for the magneto. And then I just got the other side, this bracket to do. So this side was welded up, ground down. I put a piece of stainless in between, and then when I welded this, it actually looked like the puddle was fusing to the stainless. Knocked it out, and now I got a nice gap in between there. It's nice and true. Just going to do a little bit more welding up here. So these brackets will sit a little flatter. Die grind it down to what I need, and then I'll weld these brackets on. That's all welded up. Just gotta clean it up. And there, it's all welded up, just gotta clean it up. So now I'm gonna fire up the grinders and die grinders and air grinders and any other type of grinder that I could find. All right, so this is all die ground up. I might do a couple little weld touch-ups and do a little bit more cleaning, but it's pretty good. Cleaning up this side here now. Just running the die grinder in and smoothing it out, trying to make it look more like the cast material. So I'm gonna keep going on that. All right, this is cleaned up, this side. Underneath is cleaned up, this is tidied. This bracket, it's all cleaned up now. I'll let him drill the hole out himself after he gets it mounted on the frame. think that'd be the, or once you get it mounted on the bike, I think that'd be the time to do it. And you could just drill up and get it exactly where it needs with no re-drilling. Same with the magneto base. Once he gets the magneto sitting in here, then he'll be able to mark his holes out and get them exactly where he needs. All I have to do is do this little tab for the magneto. I got this piece, and I'm going to weld that guy in like that, blend it out, and then I just got this little piece here to fill in these holes. I'll pop this case off and make sure it's all cleaned up, and that's it. Done. So this is cleaned up, welded on the inside. Got that as good as I want to. I don't want to overwork it. It's cleaned up on the outside. That tab's put on. Grounded out as kind of best as I can get it in there. It's all done with hand tools, so pretty straight along the flange there. The case stayed pretty straight. I'm happy with it. I'll bolt this back together. It was fun. This was a neat project to do. I always like challenge myself with something new. Although it wasn't really new to me. I got some experience grenading chain cases on my old snowmobiles when I was younger and had to weld them back together several times. Either crashing them or taking stupid jumps. But this was fun. Let me know what you guys think. And yeah, think if I did a good job or not, tell me in the comments. I like to answer as many of them as I can. And until next time, have a good one. Oh yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and all that stuff. Really appreciate it, and helps grow the channel.